Isaac Hadjar. Ollie Behrman is the car in the pit lane. One car in the pit lane, 19 on the grid. Green flag at the back. The show resumes in 5 lights' time. The Dutch Grand Prix is underway. Oscar Piastri is looking across at his teammate and he does cut across. Piastri holds the lead. Max Verstappen sweeps around the outside of one. McLaren, it won't be two because Piastri had to give him the chop, and that allows Lando Norris to fight back to second place, or does it? Around the outside and nearly dropping the car. Max Verstappen went all in to take P2 and he got it.
That is what hunger looks like. He was not going to give it up.
We're sending to turn 7. High-speed stop all the time. Can Norris get back that place? It looked like he'd reclaimed it. They were swapping the positions. Poor launch off the line for Lando. Gave Max Verstappen the chance. He went around the outside. Piastri defended from him. And then he very nearly spun on the opening tour. Up a place goes Max Verstappen. Down a place goes Lando Norris. And into the top 5 goes Charles Leclerc. George Russell is down to 6th. Oscar Piastri leads the Grand Prix.
My word, the commitment from Verstappen. So that's a driver that starts on the soft and knows I've got to make some use of this right now. Hanging it round the outside of 2, accelerating through there, having a massive swapper. Thought he was going to spin, thought he was going to bounce across the grass, somehow scoops it up and keeps second place. That is really, really crucial at the front.
Alex Albon has had a party on the opening lap of this race. He's up 5 places at a circuit where they keep telling us again and again and again it's ultra difficult to overtake. Not for him, as Charles Leclerc looking for the early fake to the inside, trying to improve. Up to 4th position. He gained 1 place on George Russell on the opening lap. Your order is Piastri, then Verstappen, Norris, Hadjar, Leclerc, Russell, Hamilton, Lawson, Sainz, and in the points somehow, having started 15th on the grid, is Alex Albon.
I think that's Charles Leclerc, not only obviously trying to gain a place, but he's sizing up Hadjar. He hasn't raced with him very often. Some drivers, as soon as you show them you're coming on the inside, they leave the door open. You'll have experienced this, Julian. Some guys will close the door every time and you approach them with caution. Some just are easy to overtake. Hadjar's just shown, I'm not a pushover.
Yeah, we will see. The next time round there'll be DRS in play, but I think Hadjar might still have it from Norris as well. We saw that last time out with Leclerc, didn't we? Being quite reactive as George Russell was trying to pass him. That's a critical move for Charles to get back ahead of George on the first lap here. Both the Ferrari and the Mercedes think they've got good race pace. Speaking to Alan Permain on the grid, the team principal of Hadjar, and he said, well, it's a long shot to think we can keep the Ferraris and the Mercedes behind, but they've done that on the first lap, and with every lap that you stay there and stay in touch with the front 3, they'll start to get confident.
Yeah, and now it's Leclerc that's under pressure from Russell, so let's see, did Leclerc get the DRS as well?
It is worth 9/10 of a second around this racetrack when you have the use of the drag reduction system. Hamilton, the driver, who is closing in on George Russell. Russell had a couple of laps to try and close down, and Hadjar trying to establish himself. Wonderful view of turn 3 and the bank corner that gives us so much speed through that corner, despite the fact it's a hairpin.
And there's a curveball in place still with Verstappen. So he's gained the place on the first lap, but now he's going to take the punishment. That soft tyre will not be the favourable tyre in this first stint. He'll start dropping away in the next few laps, and it will get worse and worse on that soft that is the higher degradation tyre. And that might be opportunities further back for a Leclerc, for a Russell. Who knows, possibly a Hadjar to do something in terms of strategy there. But right now...
Okay, we expect Class 1 rain for 8 minutes around lap 7. May or may not require an inter unclear.
Significant radio message. And Jolin's about to tell you, perhaps that's why Verstappen...
We expect Class 1 rain for 8 minutes around lap 7. May or may not require an inter unclear. We expect Class 1 rain for 8 minutes around lap 7. May or may not require an inter unclear. We expect Class 1 rain for 8 minutes around lap 7. May or may not require an inter unclear.
So just, you get more degradation, and that's the big difficulty that Max Verstappen is going to have to deal with.
Max Verstappen 2 seconds off the back of Oscar Piastri as they began lap 4 of 72. Lando Norris finding himself comfortably ahead of Hadjar. Long way to go. Could easily have rain that changes the game. The last time we had a wet Dutch Grand Prix, it was a thriller, changing all the way through the podium that day. Verstappen, Alonso, Gasly. It shows you how wild it can get on the banks of the North Sea. And Verstappen, who was saying, I just want to be in the top 5 on Friday, much happier with the late setup changes before qualifying, and finds himself, of course he does, the reigning world champion, in the conversation at a race where his worst finish since it came back to the calendar is P2.
This is happy days for Oscar Piastri out front. Over 2 seconds now, and that should just grow and grow. And he'll, of course, be hoping that there's no rain coming, because as it stands, he has got the race kind of really in his hands.
We go back to the start of the Grand Prix. And a big moment with Piastri chopping across Lando Norris and Verstappen sending it around the outside.
It tells you something about his mentality. He wasn't going, okay, I'm happy that I've got one place. He was instinctively thinking, I'm going to take it round the outside. And look at that catch. Few, if any, could have held that.
And keep the place at turn 3 as well. We've seen plenty of incident at turn 3 in our return to Zandvoort. I thought that was going to be another. He came through turn 2 and it's dusty out there. So as soon as you see Max getting offline now, he's desperate to pass Norris, keeps his foot in, and he'll just pick up some dust underneath. There we go. And you can see that just loses the rear end grip. And there he comes back in again at turn 3. It's amazing. I think the banking there, being able to use that running to the outside was so useful.
It's almost like something you'd expect to see in the F1 movie. It's just incredible.
Oh, that's not the banked corner that we talk about, but that corner is banked, and there are no cars who find themselves at that part of the circuit unless it's lap 1. Gabriel Bortoleto losing a hatful of places, and he finds himself down in 19th position now after a slow getaway.
It almost looked like, when I picked up looking at his dashes, we see him with Lance here. He's going to get pushed, a little bit of contact, and you can see some carbon fibre made its way off the car.
So he'd lost 5 places with the poor launch, and then that is how he lost his 6th position and dropped down to 19th place. Franco Colapinto up against his teammate. He's got the soft tyres on the car, so they've rolled the dice with Colapinto. Gasly on the left-hand side, at least he was. Very close between the Alpine drivers, especially when your team principal is Flavio Briatore.
Yeah, that was a strange one, actually, because it almost looks like Gasly had accepted the overtake, and then they end up haggling and getting pushed wide through turn 1.
Gasly's half a second behind Colapinto, but he is behind Colapinto, who's running in 14th position. The gap now out front, 3 seconds between the top 2.
So we're expecting this rain to be light initially, but will last 7 to 10 laps.
It's coming. They know beyond this radar, they'll have people positioned upwind, getting their head wet, giving all that information. You just can't rely.
So we're expecting this rain to be light initially, but will last 7 to 10 laps. So we're expecting this rain to be light initially, but will last 7 to 10 laps.
Or plenty of drivers tried to hang it out, slicks in the damp, and it wasn't the best call. But you always have these things in your mind as a driver. Do you have to pit for inters? Because when it inevitably dries up, you're having to do 2 pit stops at that point to get back to the slicks.
Let's go back to Gabriel Bortoleto. This is his onboard view of the incident that has been noted by race control.
I actually thought it was a pretty tasty move from Stroll around the outside there. That's the damage to the front wing end plate for Bortoleto. That's got to be okay, isn't it? Play on. I think Bortoleto trying to keep in there, but Stroll didn't do anything wrong, took the place. It's just difficult around here. It's narrow, and that sort of thing happens.
Yeah, 2 drivers clear sight of each other, so neither can claim either that in Bortoleto's case, he cannot claim that he wasn't defending the inside. So interesting to see whether that end plate detaches itself. You can see the wire coming out of the carbon fibre, which is leading to the thermal camera that looks at the surface temperature of the tyre.
Lando Norris has got within 1 second of Max Verstappen. He's 7/10 of a second away. That soft tyre will be degrading. It will be losing performance. And there is the second in the points battle closing in on Verstappen, who wants the light rain right now. In fact, he wants medium rain, really, doesn't he? They were unsure whether the rainfall at McLaren would require a change in tyres. And if we had to switch to inters, it would be way more than light rain.
Yeah, the more rain, the better for Max right now. He's got to stay on that tyre until it rains or passes, and is just going to have to check his mirrors more and more often as Lando's getting closer and closer in the McLaren. Look at the gap out front, though, 4 seconds between Oscar and Max. So it is working very nicely, this, for Piastri.
Yeah, I think that Norris inevitably, running in that dirty air, won't be able to realise his lap times. But Piastri as well, mentally, I think he'll be thinking, push, 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 give myself as much wriggle room, because the rain might come just as he passes the pit lane. So, as we can see, Max has to go defensive.
Around the outside, trying the move, pulling the move off that he needed if he was going to be a contender to win this Grand Prix. Lando Norris, at the first time of asking, takes back the place.
It's a good move. I haven't seen Max pass around the outside too many times in my life, so very, very good commitment there from Lando. The corner's slightly banked, and it does allow you the chance to do that, and he took it first chance.
Yeah, no, absolutely brilliant there from Lando. I think there was a little bit of racing respect there as well. They are buddies. Normally that only shines off track rather than on track, but there was an acceptance, I believe. Racing respect there as well. They are buddies.
Nice job. Let's go get Oscar.
Off track rather than on track, but there was an acceptance, I believe. Respect there as well. They are buddies.
Nice job. Let's go get Oscar.
Off track rather than on track, but there was an acceptance, I believe. Full red mist.
Let's see it again. Lando Norris needed this move, and crucially, think back to Miami. He needed lap after lap after lap, couldn't get it done. This time, use the grip, go the long way round, and the banking, and get through.
Yeah, there's almost like a quick acceleration, so he doesn't do a huge amount on the brakes, but then releases the brakes and gets fully alongside Max. And once he's done that, Max can no longer run him out of road on the exit. So not a massive lunge on the brakes, but then just turned it in with commitment afterwards and planted himself on the outside to make the move. I do think Max probably knew that that was going to be coming in the long haul anyway.
Thinking about the move further back, Kimi Antonelli trying to shake past Yuki Tsunoda. Tsunoda, wise to the tactics, knew the momentum wasn't there. And we'll see whether Max Verstappen does fall off the old cliff that they used to reference. Pirelli did say the soft tyre good for 13 laps minimum before the performance really disappears.
Yeah, it's interesting to see what Antonelli's able to do. He looks quicker than Tsunoda. Both of them at this stage of the year probably feeling mentally a little bit bruised. Tsunoda has obviously had his difficulties extracting the same sort of potential from that Red Bull that Max does, and then Antonelli, you know, he's rookie driver. He's, you know, there's been some moments where it hasn't quite worked for him. So what I'm basically leading to is to say that I wouldn't expect to see a really feisty dive from Antonelli, because the risk versus return, if it doesn't work out, just adds to the pressure.
He needs laps, doesn't he? He needs to just get through clean weekends and find his feet rather than getting in the wars too soon.
Track temperature has dropped slightly since the start of the Grand Prix. It's at 27 degrees now at the moment.
Norris does the fastest lap. As soon as he's clear, pumps one in, 4/10 quicker than Piastri. So the gap that was 4.5 is now 4.1. And Lando has looked just a little bit quicker than Oscar through this weekend. It didn't materialise in qualifying, 12 thousandths was the difference. But once again, we're now seeing Norris pump in the fastest first sector on this lap as well, and he is going about shutting down that lead.
All with the threat of light rain in the air, you're on board with the Ferrari of Charles Leclerc, trying to improve up to 4th position.
Yeah, I absolutely love that angle as they come up through the rise, through the dunes, and that stage you can see the Ferrari is better at those higher speed turns. Hadjar maybe running out of tyres at this stage, but you can see where he gains, and then crucially for Hadjar, he's able to eke out a little bit of a gap through these final 2 turns, and that's making it very difficult for Leclerc to get any DRS pass.
Now you can see Verstappen is on the expiring tyres, because the gap is now 3.5 seconds, losing a lot of time as Norris tries to take the fight to Oscar Piastri. The gap is 4 seconds across the line.
And the problem for Max is he's actually now falling back in towards the battle behind as well. On the last lap, Hadjar was just fractionally quicker than Verstappen, but he's on the soft tyre. So if the rain doesn't come, then they're going to have to start thinking about making a pit stop, and then it's a long way to go. This was the gamble of starting on the soft.
Yeah, and then it's about where is the gap. If he was to pit, then he would come out behind Verstappen, actually, no, a bit further back, come out behind Gasly, maybe even Hülkenberg. So that's the sort of issue he has right now, about 18 seconds total time loss coming in for a pit stop.
Hadjar quitting himself nicely, running consistently in his highest running position of a Grand Prix. His career best yesterday was 5th on the grid for his first Monaco Grand Prix. And any time you put it in the top 4 in Formula 1 qualifying is impressive, especially if you do so in your rookie season. And the 20-year-old, originally from Paris, finds himself leading Charles Leclerc at the moment.
I'm a bit scared about Bortoletto for the way. It's nothing. Copy.
Man from the pit lane appeals to the umpire that they might need a black and orange flag. If you get that in Formula 1, you have to pit and repair the damage.
Yeah, well, flapping wings, I guess we know exactly, as you just said there, what he's doing with that information. He's just got to find an old-fashioned pass.
Yeah, those two know each other well, having raced against each other.
What he's doing with that information.
I'm a bit scared about Bortoletto for the way. It's nothing.
Those two know each other well, having raced against each other.
What he's doing with that information.
I'm a bit scared about Bortoletto for the way. It's nothing.
Those two know each other well, having raced against each other.
And the front wing's hanging off. Surely you can clear him. Bortoletto's still going fine. He's in the group. It was the same for Leclerc in China. The amount of fine-tuning, front wing angle tweaks that goes on, and then you rip off part of the carbon fibre front wing, and they're still going fine.
I think the end plate is actually one of those sort of common part, not common part, and they've manufactured their own, but it's designated in its shape. They can put their own little flicks on it, but it's kind of there whether you want it or not at that size. Clearly doesn't do a great deal.
No, we've seen it time and time again. I did enjoy our journey to Jolyon Palmer's sympathy corner there, as much as I would expect from a team radio message. We're on lap 14 of 72. The gap is now 3.6 seconds between the McLaren pair. Remember, the threat of light rain continues, but it's not manifested itself on lap 10 like the original forecast suggested.
Yeah, still waiting for it to come. So Norris has now taken a second out of Piastri. He's done it by just chipping away. The first one was 3/10, and then it's been a couple of tenths on the subsequent laps. It comes down to 3.4 in the first sector as well, as Lando's lighting up the timing screens again. His medium tyre's not going away, and he's really narrowing down this gap. Every lap it's coming down, a couple of tenths, 1/10, just piling the pressure now on Piastri.
It's going to be Lance Stroll, and is that the end of the end plate? Yeah, it is on the racing line, and Stroll had come in for a stop. He'd got rid of the medium tyres and taken on the hard, which is why he was behind the driver that he'd passed on the second lap of the Grand Prix, and he was running over that debris.
If I didn't know better, it was almost like he ran over it in an attempt to damage his tyre or something. You see debris on the track, Julian. It's there. You see everything on the racetrack. It was... I'm actually surprised he's hit that debris.
I can only assume he didn't see it, because surely he's not deliberately taking a chunk of carbon fibre underneath his car. He's put on a nice move on Bortoletto, and that was the cause of the debris, wasn't it, in the first place? I mean, there's a lot going on behind the wheel. Maybe he's looking at the steering wheel, or on the radio he's slightly distracted. He's on his own, out the back, so...
And so you were saying that Julian's not sympathetic towards drivers. There you go. He's just on a big dose of sympathy on that one.
Yeah.
I couldn't fathom the alternative, DC, that he's just chosen to go and damage his car.
But what was interesting, actually, as we stayed with that shot, how close he was on the white line into the grass, which was the very corner that he'd dropped the car in qualifying.
Yeah, and that really compromised his entire chance of points this weekend. He needs it to rain. It's as simple as that. And Oscar Piastri was reporting light drops of rain on his visor last time around. He's the race leader by 3.1 seconds.
I think we've got a race on our hands, rain or shine. On the last lap, Norris was 4/10 quicker than Piastri again. The gap's 3 seconds and closing more and more. There's a long old way to go in this one. I thought that buffer at the start might prove critical.
I have this feeling that the sort of papaya rules, and that's when Bortoletto's end plate decided it had enough. I feel that the prix rules very much lead to, and then we can see Lando as well picked up. Now that was a smaller part, so I think that's after.
Yeah, it's post-hit.
Yeah, absolutely has gone over it. But I think that McLaren's are racing to the first pit stop effectively, and then prix rules comes in unless there's something unusual happens.
There are spots of rain on the exit of turn 3 at the Hugenholtz corner.
I see a solitary jacket going up in the grandstand.
And many are following. Yeah, this is the first signs, and an umbrella pops up, and guess what colour it is? Bright orange.
So we're just, for a moment, all three of us looking out of the window rather than at the pictures that you are seeing at home, just to see whether it rolls in. The main straight, where we are, where we're talking to you from, is the part of the circuit closest to the beach, to the North Sea, and it comes in so quickly. We saw that in 2023. It's like the weather pattern around here is on fast forward, and the rain is beginning to fall. Remember, if you don't get the timing right here, and we see rainfall to the same intensity that we did earlier in the weekend, it can cost you up to 20 seconds and completely upend the Dutch Grand Prix.
We've seen strategy make such a big difference between the two McLarens already. When it rains now, I mean, this could be critical. And how do McLaren deal with this? Two drivers racing only against each other. They've already ditched Max Verstappen. He's nearly 10 seconds back now in third. I guess you've got to leave it up to race engineer and driver to call it.
Yeah, well, look, driver ultimately can make that call, I'm coming in. But I think if we're in that situation, it will apply to both. Here's Antonelli once again on Sonoda.
Antonelli getting close. And both Red Bulls are seeing their tyres disappear from underneath them. Verstappen now 12 seconds off the back of Lando Norris. That tyre is fading fast. They've got to stay out on it because the conditions, well, they could change at any moment. And Antonelli trying to find a way by. You can see more drops of rain on the camera lens then. More people in the grandstands opposite us are looking for the rain jackets, are looking for the ponchos. And the track temperature is dropping down again. It's very nearly to 26 degrees, always an indication when the wind picks up and the temperature drops that rain is coming. The gap out front between the two McLarens and the contenders for the Drivers' World Championship are currently separated by 3 seconds. This is an opportunity for anyone who's having a tough weekend to try and repair the damage. They can just take the gamble when it comes to the tyres at the moment, and we can see big swings if you time that tyre stop to intermediates at the right time.
Yeah, the Red Bulls need that rain to come down more heavily and then to cover off the fact that they're now in a whole world of pain. And if it does, then McLaren have no choice but to stack the cars, and that of course affects, when they're that close together, it affects the second running car. If Norris was further back, it would almost be a seamless scenario.
Antonelli cannot get past the soft runner. Further back, that's not the case. Gasly has retaken the position that he lost to Colapinto. And Bortoleto has been noted by race control for driving in an unsafe condition. It's something they'll speak about afterwards, potentially, after the car saw the end plate deposited onto the racing line. Let's go on board with Lando Norris, who has had the form around this circuit in the past. He was the winner here last year. He passed Max Verstappen on lap 18 for the lead, and then the win over 20 seconds, which is a huge margin in modern Formula One. And he is whittling away at the advantage, having to be aware of the possible changing conditions all the time. So this gives you a great idea of a superb circuit.
Yeah, you can see the last few laps, actually, the flow has just been stifled. The gain that Norris was making is no longer. 3.2 seconds the gap, as Oscar actually took 10.5 back on Lando. So the first charge looked promising. Now Oscar's just able to stay closer to his best lap, as Lando's just dropping away slightly more.
Hamilton's starting to put a bit of pressure on Russell. Just under a second, that gap there. Russell's dropped back from the battle ahead with Leclerc and Hadjar.
But Hadjar's still fourth. Let's not forget that either. He's not miles away from Verstappen in third. So this is going tremendously for Isaac Hadjar. And those guys, of course, will be hoping no rain. Let's just do one stop and get on with it.
Fernando Alonso not hanging around, hoping for intermediate tyres. He has gone to the hards. He will go no further. Aston are a team gambling that the degradation is more than anyone expects out there today. They've prepared their entire weekend on the basis that everyone's going to try and make the one-stop work, but the degradation might just be too high. And he was underlining that on the driver's parade earlier on. More cameras, more drops of rain. It's got to be significant, though, in order for the teams to change tyres.
And I know how the tyres, how's the pace?
Yeah, it's starting just...
Significant though.
And I know how the tyres, how's the pace? And I know how the
Yeah, it's
tyres,
starting
how's
to
the
struggle
pace?
a little bit more now. Yeah, it's starting to race.
And I know how the tyres, how's the pace? And I know how
Yeah,
the
it's
tyres,
starting
how's
to
the
struggle
pace?
a little bit more now. Yeah, it's starting to race.
And I know how the tyres, how's the pace? And I know how
Yeah,
the
it's
tyres,
starting to
how's the
struggle a
pace?
little bit more now. Yeah, it's starting to race.
Finally, Antonelli is released up to 11th position. He takes on a more durable compound, having started on the soft. It does appear that the rain might be getting a little bit heavier at turn one, and they are standing up in the crowd outside. They're reaching for the ponchos, they're reaching for the rain jackets. The rain is intensifying outside our commentary box window.
It's really interesting, isn't it, that they've all chosen to come in. They felt there was nothing left in the tyre, but we can clearly see the rain coming down. Is it going to be enough to go to intermediates?
I think that was a soft rain from Andrea Stella there.
Yeah.
I thought he was tickling the ivories.
Well, the grades are some drops and drizzle is grade 1, light rain is 2, moderate rain or shower is 3, and heavy rain or thunderstorm is 4 when they talk in those grades on the radio.
A pitter-patter.
Very good.
I don't know what the Italian translation is for it, but I'm sure that's what was being relayed there from Andrea.
Very
Lando,
technical.
can you get closer to the...
Those grades on the radio.
Lando, can you get closer to the car ahead?
I don't know what the Italian translation is for it, but I'm sure that's what was being relayed there from Andrea.
Lando, can you
technical.
get closer to the...
Those grades on the radio.
Lando, can you get closer to the car ahead?
I don't know what the Italian translation is for it, but I'm sure that's what was being relayed there from Andrea.
Lando, can you get closer to the...
Belgium, how the drivers had to adapt to the different conditions. How strong Lewis Hamilton was coming through in the field across that weekend. And talking of the 7-time world champion, you've got Hadjar ahead of Leclerc, and then you've got Russell falling back into the clutches of his old teammate. Hamilton, who went into the summer break after a really tough run, was happy to just get to Q3 yesterday. He said he tried a different approach entirely to this weekend, and the key word was he was enjoying it more. It had been a really tough run, not being able to compete, even get to the top 10 shootout for the previous 2 Grand Prix rounds.
Yeah, another example that you race where you qualify. So if you have that bad qualifying, even though you might be in a superior car as displayed by your teammate, it's very difficult to sort of get out of that traffic, that dirty air. And Grand Prix cars love nice, clean airflow at the first point of contact across the front wing.
Piccietto, apparently, is the Italian for pitter-patter.
I knew he'd be trying to figure that out.
He wouldn't be able to leave it alone. I've gone to the back catalogue there, and it's taken me a couple of laps.
Yeah, is he doing that Italian GSE, or whatever you call it, in down south? It's definitely played its part. It would have been terrible if we were having a conversation with an Italian.
I've got 2 words: ciao and Piccietto.
Definitely have to undercut these guys. It's hard to get closer.
Down on it.
They're snaking around coming out of turn 10. That is the corner where the drivers are susceptible to the wind, and you've seen the cars moving around.
It's hard to get closer.
Down on it.
Definitely have to undercut these guys. It's hard to get closer.
Down on
That is
it.
the corner where the drivers are susceptible to the wind, and you've seen the cars moving around.
It's hard to get closer.
Down on it.
Definitely have to undercut these guys. It's hard to get closer.
Down on it.
The corner where the drivers are susceptible to the wind, and you've seen the cars moving around.
But it's not enough now, and I think the teams are getting more confidence that it's going to pass without significantly dampening the track. So in comes Leclerc. He's going to come out into a bit of traffic. Is he going to stay just clear of Kimi Antonelli? That'll be tight.
Yellow flag is out. Lewis Hamilton is off the road and out of the race. Coming out of turn 3, the light rain falling, and the 7-time world champion has found the barriers and is out to bring out the safety car.
Yeah, this throws open an opportunity now for Max. Where is he on track? Halfway around the lap.
So this is the stop for everyone now. Leclerc could well lose out from this, should lose out from this, as he's got to go at a reduced speed.
Lando Norris is going to have to back off a bit as well. If they double stack, you have to wait about 5 seconds in between cars.
He's got so much margin behind, though, and it's a full safety car. So when this gets restarted, he will be right with Oscar. But it kind of neutralises the strategy unless we have more rain. Hard tyres for Piastri. It will be the same for Norris.
McLaren go to work. And, slow pull away there. They were dragging the jack away, but it had the front wing attached. They got away with that one. 4.5 seconds the gap. And everyone now coming into the pit lane. The rain is light, but Hamilton hitting the wall, and he is out of the Dutch Grand Prix. Piastri, Norris, Verstappen, Hadjar. Now Russell, Lawson, Sainz, Albon, Leclerc, and Antonelli, the top 10.
Yeah, it's ironic, isn't it, that as you mentioned there, Leclerc comes out with fresh tyres straight into that safety car, so you get the double frustration of it being sort of friendly fire, isn't it? Your own team causing, or your own teammate causing a loss.
So it is a cheaper pit stop under these conditions. Instead of losing 23 seconds, you only lose 17. Everyone concluding their opening stints. And let's have another look at the moment that brought out the safety car. Hamilton heading to turn 3 with the light rain falling.
Yeah, you can see on the camera, gets through the right well. Oh, that's so frustrating. It was so late in the corner as the load had built. Gets out wide, corrects, and then just ran out of road.
It's just on the painted surface, isn't it?
So frustrating. It was so late.
Yeah, so sorry, guys.
The load had built. Gets out wide.
Hamilton apologising to his team. He wasn't wide by much, but he was on to that painted
Surface, isn't it?
So frustrating. It was
Are you okay?
Yeah, so sorry, guys. Yeah, so sorry, guys.
Hamilton apologising to his team. He wasn't wide by much, but he was on to that painted
Surface, isn't it?
Are you okay?
Yeah, so sorry, guys. Yeah, so sorry, guys.
Hamilton apologising to his team. He wasn't wide by much, but he was on.
Do find that the painted surfaces become more slippery first, and round that turn 3 it is obviously raised up, and the drivers use that outside line, and it's a strange place to just have such a big oversteer.
It's different paint, isn't it? The white lines are a grippier paint.
Is he all right? Front check.
Yeah, all good.
In that case, can you tell him how disappointed I am?
Former McLaren driver David Coulthard giving us the true insight to what he'd be thinking. Lando Norris checking in on his pit crew, and it's still, well, it's 80.
Is he all right?
Driver David Coulthard giving us the
Front
true
check.
insight.
Yeah, all good.
Remaining Ferrari, so that's just an extra painful one.
So Verstappen went to the medium tyre. Again, he's fancying the softer end of the compounds today. And that might be easier to fire up in these slightly lower temperatures. Track temperature has fallen to 25 now.
It's got a long way to go on that. Bearing in mind we heard Lando saying he was feeling the rears going away. The times were falling away for both McLarens.
Well, this rain has come in at the start of the day. They didn't expect it. Then they expected it to hit on lap 40 if we got it at all. It came far earlier than that. And maybe he's just gambling on everyone's going to have another intervention from the weather anyway, which the medium tyre would seem to suggest. Driver in third. Hadjar remains in fourth. And that timing just working against Charles Leclerc. George Russell getting the benefit of losing less time under the safety car and jumping for fifth.
The Hamilton one, it is a strange one though. I mean, the painted surface, the drizzle. But when you think the drizzle and Lewis Hamilton, you think this is the time where he's going to charge through the field and start making progress historically. But he does just seem just not comfortable in the car and the environment he's in at the moment.
Yeah. Yes, it looks like exactly that. He went wide of the white line onto the green, slippery at the wall.
Yeah, but then you should tell me earlier.
wide of the white
This
line
is a
onto the green,
race ending.
slippery at the wall.
Bit of information, so you should tell me earlier.
Okay, so getting sort of double radio play in my ear there, but that's Lando asking for what happened to Hamilton. They've explained, and then he's giving a...
How did Hamilton crash? Did he go on the green and the green was slippery because of the rain?
Yes, it looks like exactly that. He went wide of the white line onto the green, slippery at the wall.
Yeah, but then you should tell me earlier. Like, this is a race ending bit of information, so...
Yep, okay, cool.
You go.
Oscar Piastri decides when he takes us back to green flag racing conditions. He sets the pace and he leaves Lando Norris behind. As we go racing again, the green flag flies at Zandvoort circuit. Looks like a nice run for the Williams. Was that Carlos Sainz there on the back of Liam Lawson as well? George Russell's looking to the inside. Not able to get past Isaac Hadjar.
Yeah, that was clever of Oscar. He was, you know, you're trying to second guess when he's going to go. He can take it all the way through the final corner, but he came off, kind of went as if he was going middle track, and there's a problem.
Was a contact between Lawson and Sainz because they were fighting over the positions into the first turn and they're dropping down. They had a great run. Sainz had a brilliant run on the banking, but that has cost them both a chance of points as they drop down the order. And look at Max Verstappen all over the back of Lando Norris.
Yeah, Russell as well, putting pressure on Hadjar just behind. I don't know if it was just more drizzle in that middle part of the lap, but Verstappen really got fired up in the high speed and is close. It's difficult to do much at that point. 7th place they were fighting for, Sainz and Lawson.
It's cost them, and it was a great exit. And there will be inevitable contact at that first turn. They're now 18th and 19th, still circulating, but surely circulating back to the pits. 0.8 of a second between Norris and Piastri, with Verstappen on the medium tyres. They're quicker to fire up. They'll be more grippy as well at this stage. But if anything, Lando Norris has had a superb third sector to be 0.7 of a second away from Piastri as we go back racing. Light rain continuing to fall. Russell had early momentum on Hadjar and then has dropped back as well. And in the end, it's Alex Albon who's having a great run through the field. Started 15th, he's now 7th.
Yeah, looking at you've got, what is that, dust on the track? Is that from that contact with Sainz?
It must be. That must be where someone's run off the road, obviously, and just poured dust back on. It's flat out through there, so it shouldn't be affecting anyone.
Could be avoiding action as well, because I think they were slow. I reckon it might be turn 1 that they've had the contact, and then I think they've had to dart round, which is why we've got dust on the racetrack.
Yeah, I think there might be double punctures for them, because they're basically racing each other slowly back to the pits, so that would indicate flat tyres.
They've just gone past our commentary position. Sainz and Lawson now need it to rain. Two drivers who, well, Sainz is looking to return to the points, and it's been a while for him. And he was trying to get back there for the first time since the Canadian Grand Prix. And Lawson's been in great form coming into the summer break. But they were fighting over 7th place, and it's cost them. Onto the soft tyres, he goes.
So it's the left rear, the tyre was off the rim, and it's a nose change for the Williams. So that's your first synopsis of what's happened.
Well, we're about to see it from on board with Carlos Sainz here in the slipstream racing, of course. As you're going to think about the outside line and then have the right line. Oh, just the tiniest of touches. And you've got to say in that situation, Carlos has got a clearer view of the car in front. And you've got to roll the dice as to how much risk you're going to take. And in this case, it's cost them both.
Yeah, he's not done enough, has he, in the first part of the corner to stay there?
He's just so stupid. Oh my god. This guy is always the same guy.
from Leclerc, because this is not someone thinking, okay, I'm going to get the best result I can this afternoon. This is someone who's fighting for every point.
I love it when Leclerc does those sort of things. We've seen it a few times. I remember Silverstone, he had a massive brawl with Verstappen a few years ago.
So at the restart already, George got caught out on a wide line, so that gave Leclerc a little bit of pushing George onto the dirt.
He's got so much work to do, though, from this far back. No way around the outside. Holds it.
Yeah, then 11, 12, he doesn't have the space. He cannot complain.
He can.
second to explain that one to us. You cannot get above 40% on track.
And so it must be cutting at 40% throttle. I mean, you're never going to be able to race with not putting your foot all the way down. So it must just be having a hiccup as he's going mid-throttle there for Tsunoda. So that's why the team's saying, look, we can't fix it. Get used.
Well, I don't have power.
Okay, you do not have power until 40% throttle. We cannot fix it on track. We cannot fix it on track. Try and get used to it under the safety car just now. Try and get used to it under the safety car just now.
Wait, what?
40% throttle.
Oh, no wonder it's 13th then. I'll take it back.
Well, it depends when you started having that problem. If it's under the safety car.
The top two drivers in the World Championship are about to do battle. Verstappen putting the pressure on the soft tyres as well. We go racing at the end of the Dutch Grand Prix. Lando Norris got the response that he needed, and they're fighting further back, but the top three in the same positions. Look at the launch off the corner. Max Verstappen gets on that soft rubber, but it is still third position for the driver that we're riding on board with at the moment. He's got more grip, and he's putting the pressure on the McLarens ahead.
Norris did enough staying with Piastri out front there, so he had a good slipstream as well to defend from Max. The soft tyre has his biggest advantage right now, and then the McLarens will get their hards up to temp and should be able to hold station. Max knows he needs to try and make the progress now. You can just see the traction that he's got in the key exit areas, and out of turn one was a big launch, but we've just seen how difficult it is to pass really at turn 3.
Yeah, we're getting into lower fuel scenarios, of course, late in the race, so maybe even that soft tyre will play a bigger advantage for Max, but it just looks like he can't quite stay on the back of Norris.
Alonso trying to go around the outside of Gasly. Gasly on the old tyres. Alonso, left-hand side of your picture, trying to go by. Big pressure put on as well. Bortoletto lost a couple of positions on the restart lap. Behrman is now in 10th position out front. 1.2 seconds as McLaren get the restart that they wanted, and Piastri was able to build a gap over Lando Norris. Norris able to see off the threat of Verstappen on the soft tyres, and the major changes taking place in the lower reaches of the points. You got Behrman on new medium tyres all over the back of Fernando Alonso on the hards.
Again, tough for Behrman to do too much, and they'll know as well what's just happened at turn 3. So you see the stricken Ferrari on the outside there. Behrman now will have to just follow through the middle sector. The best thing he can hope for again is that Alonso starts fighting with Gasly probably ahead, who's just going to bunch this whole pack up.
Antonelli is under investigation for speeding in the pit lane. It's usually a slam dunk penalty when we get that message.
And there's great points on offer for these guys with Antonelli dropping down the order. He's already got 10 seconds and it may well get worse for him.
Here's an opportunity for Yuki Tsunoda, trying to go past Gabriel Bortoletto. Tsunoda's on that soft tyre, and Yuki Tsunoda gets up to 12th position. Plenty of overtaking coming your way between now and the end of the Dutch Grand Prix. We've got so many drivers out of position with the timing of that second safety car period.
100%,
it is 4/10 of a second to the lead of the Grand Prix.
If I would be in their situation,
is it going to be a
because in the end of the day,
16-point advantage?
what we're here
If it
for,
finish this way, that's
it's
what it
fighting
would be.
for a championship.
Or will it be two
and there's only one that can win the
between the top
championship.
two in the world?
And by the end of the year,
exactly
if
why
you
Charles
think
Leclerc
you would have
doesn't
lost
show
the
any
championship
interest
for
really,
exactly
because,
that point, you will ask yourself, not only yourself, all the fans and the TVs and the journalists and so on, why didn't you do so? If you go back to other years, in other teams, in other situations, in the last race, for example, there were clear team orders, and everybody accepts those. I can see, like in the years when we did it, because we were leading so much that people thought it was unnecessary. I can agree on that.
Away in third again, and it is McLaren 1 and 2, and they should finish this way. unless there's drama in the last 12 laps. And Norris knows he's heading for second place here. The gap's going to go out to 16 again, unless he can put some pressure on and make the difference in these final 12 laps. So he just has to give it all. Cut loose, give it everything. The hard tyres will be fine. Go and attack.
And for the third Grand Prix in a row, it's a charge from one McLaren trying to take it away from the other. In Belgium, it was Norris trying to close in on Piastri. He was not able to do so. In Budapest, 0.6 of a second as Piastri closed in on Norris, but Norris hung on. And this time around, as we go into the latter stages, 1.4 seconds between the two of them. Nothing to choose between the pair. And we've got Alex Albon chasing George Russell.
This man has a legendary 074 Porsche. What's that? It's the cheapest 07 Porsche for its condition that has ever been purchased. There it is there. So the price of this car was $3,800. And what did you have to put into it to get it driving? A paint job. That was it. Supposedly the engine was blown. The guy told me that it was like knocking no battery. And then his dad shows up to the paint shop and he's like, hey, let's race him. Well, it's going to blow up. Might as well blow it up racing. So you take off, and all of your logic is flawed. It floors it. Not only does he beat my dad, but the knocking never returns. That guy's punching the air. Like, yeah, you still have this car. It's my daily. It's your dip.
Turn 10, more wheel banging at Zandvoort. And he couldn't get past Ocon. They're running in 13th and 14th, these two. And Hulkenberg was in the mix as well.
Yeah, didn't manage to do anything with it, but yeah, good to see he was seeking the opportunity, but wheel to wheel, as we know, these tires can pop off the rim pretty easily.
Antonelli will need a 15-second gap. He has got that 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. So how quickly Behrman can clear Pierre Gasly is massive for Kimi Antonelli. And we join that battle right now. You can see he was chasing him all the way through turn 2. We're through turn 3 at the moment, left-hand side of your picture.
This will be some defence if Gasly can hold on. It's not easy to overtake around this circuit, but on his tyres against these are much fresher.
Right, it's not really.
Copy, Max.
Uncomfortable, maybe?
Yeah, I think that's probably the word they bleeped out. Yeah. Yes. So he's not happy with where as the.
Right, it's not really.
Yep, copy, Max.
End to go. 1.6 seconds the advantage for Oscar Piastri. Now, big moment, left-hand side of your picture. This is going to be key for the points. Ollie Behrman's got the better grip. He's got the inside line, and he's going to have 8th position. Behrman returning to the points for the first time since the Bahrain Grand Prix in the Grand Prix format. He scored in a sprint back in Belgium, but Behrman has been waiting for this type of drive. He's gone from the pit lane to P8.
Which should become P7, because he will have the pace now to stay within 15 seconds of Antonelli out front. So time trial for Behrman now to the end of the race. Antonelli boxed in behind his teammate. Albon's having a great drive, isn't he, up in 6th. That battle still for 5th in the Constructors' Championship. Twists and turns with every race, but Williams could dearly do with some good points here.
Yeah, there's been some brilliant examples of really exquisite driving from the rookies, effectively. Hadjar, Behrman, definitely top drawer stuff.
We're ticking through the laps at the end. Lance Stroll is the driver who finds himself in 10th position at the moment. He must have thought his chance of points had gone when he found the barriers at the corner that he's driving to. Turn 13, it's where he crashed in qualifying. And he's going to have a run on Gasly. Stroll on 10-lap old tyres finds himself ahead of Fernando Alonso and made that 10 positions gained in the Grand Prix for Stroll, who is now chasing down Oliver Behrman in the battle for 8th position. Could be better points if Antonelli's unable to eke out that gap. 1.2 between the top two in the World Championship, Piastri and Norris. Once again.
Possibly a few very light drops in 3 laps' time will be less than at the start of the race.
Stressful moments if you are the lead car coming across the conditions first. It wouldn't be much to change the outcome of the points tally in the World Championship that stands at 9 going into today's race. Norris was able to find a way by, and it would go down to 2.
Possibly a few very light drops in 3 laps time will be less than at the start of the race.
Something funny. I got smoke coming from in the cockpit, I think. I smell something funny.
Lando Norris is retiring from the Dutch Grand Prix. A huge moment in the World Championship. Oscar Piastri.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm on fire or not. It doesn't smell good. Smoke in the cockpit.
Okay, mate, we're checking.
Piastri, Verstappen, and on for his first podium in Formula One is Isaac Hadjar. But that is a huge moment in the destiny of the World Championship in 2025. Norris is out of the Grand Prix on lap 65.
Oh, you got to feel for him. You've got to feel for just the cruelty of sport at times. You know, we were just watching two exceptional drivers trading lap times, and all of a sudden, the unthinkable in an era where reliability is, they expect 100% reliability.
Yeah, the cars are so bulletproof normally. You don't think that's going to happen, but that's heartbreak. Heartbreak for Lando. Championship in the balance, and suddenly that gap is going to balloon out. Will Joseph, race engineer, head in hands as well. Gutted for half the McLaren garage. Of course, strange thing is, the other half, that's a huge moment for Piastri as well. This is going to be a big swing in the championship.
It is. The safety car is deployed. Verstappen on the soft tyre, Piastri on the hard tyre. Is that the pivotal moment with 9 Grand Prix to go after today's checkered flag waved? It has been so close between them week in, week out. 34 points is the gap between the two of them as it stands in the final stages. And Lando Norris knows that he will have it all to do in the last 9 races. A heartbreaking moment for the British driver. And that picture tells a story. He is disconsolate, and you can understand why.
It's desperate. Feel so sorry for him. First championship. He's not going to be out of it by any stretch of the imagination, but his work has just got so much harder, and through no fault of his own. It can go your way, it can go against you.
Charles Leclerc listening in.
Yeah, someone's obviously handed him a mobile phone. I don't think he carried it in his pocket during the Grand Prix, but yeah, heartbreaking for the whole team, for Lando, for what has been an amazing, I think, trading of lap times.
He said he smelled smoke, and this was it.
Oil leak, I'm out. Failure.
Okay. Can you bring it back, mate?
I'm out. No, it's gone.
Okay. Sorry, mate. Mate, you were fast today. You were really fast.
Yeah, it doesn't matter, mate.
I know. You were fast.
I know. Unlucky, boys. Unlucky.
It will not be a 5th 1-2 finish in a row for McLaren.
Oil leak, I'm out. Failure.
Okay. Can you bring it back, mate?
I'm out. No, it's gone.
Okay. Sorry, mate. Mate, you were fast today. You were really fast.
Yeah, it doesn't matter, mate.
I know. You were fast.
I know. Unlucky, boys. Unlucky.
is worth saying, we do still have enough laps to get this one restarted.
Yeah, we do, but sport can be amazing. It takes you on this roller coaster of emotion. I'm not sure today I was ready for that particular turn of events.
Well, you were talking earlier in the weekend, Jordan, about old school 90s engine failures where you'd see smoke out of the back and how rare they are in the modern age. But it can still happen. These are incredibly complex machines. And when it is zero-sum, when it's him or you, a moment like that, so painful and so costly.
Yeah, brutal. Brutal. 9 races still to go in the championship for Lando, though, and now it's just got to be perfection from him, because Oscar is driving at a really high level, and that is the sorry sight of still a smouldering McLaren car cleared. So we turn back to the next story, which is Isaac Hadjar running third.
Incredible for Hadjar. This is his 15th Grand Prix start. And from Hadjar's point of view, he's like, well, I think we've seen quite enough today. And I don't think we need to get this one restarted.
Yeah, I think you're totally right. But it has been a quality performance, there's no doubt about it. I haven't seen a mistake. He was prone to them in Formula 2, but what a great debut season. And this has been a fantastic journey to what looks like will be his first podium.
Well, he was parked up with a failure on Friday, and he said they were just thinking that Q3 would be a great result. Outperformed his expectations. He actually gave credit to his teammate. He said Lawson was pushing him all the way to try and find a lap like that. Good enough for 4th on the grid and a potential first podium. It's lap 68 of 72. We have the pack formed up behind the safety car. We have Piastri on 14-lap-old hard tyres. We have Max Verstappen set to return to the podium at his home Grand Prix, and Piastri has another safety car restart to deal with. If he gets it right, he takes a 34-point lead in the Formula 1 World Championship.
So he's dealt with Lando Norris on a safety car restart. He hasn't yet dealt with Max Verstappen. Light drizzle. Verstappen still on the soft tyres. They might fire up a bit quicker. There's a home Grand Prix on the line for Max as well, out of absolutely nothing.
And so it's over to Oscar Piastri with pressure on his shoulders, with a different rival this time. He weaves, and he will take us back to racing conditions, and he does so. Piastri takes it around the banking on the hard tyres. Watch Russell up against Hadjar as well. Verstappen trying to close in. Piastri looking at the mirrors. We go over the line, and Piastri knows that this is the crucial moment. Lap 69 of 72, and we're racing again.
Imagine
Piastri, Verstappen, and Hadjar, the top 3.
Now, same strategy for Piastri on that restart, and it's actually been a winning one so far. Looks like Max struggling to get his softs switched on, actually, in comparison to the underlying pace of that McLaren on the hards.
Yeah, he's used the freshness of them already, so it's just whether they could fire up. The grip level's probably not going to be there as much as it when he had the first restart on them. Still right there with Piastri in the middle sector, so keeping the race leader right in his sights. I thought Hadjar might be more vulnerable as well. He got quite a lousy restart there, actually, but remember George Russell's driving a hobbled Mercedes behind him, so Hadjar stays third.
Well, Verstappen just heaping all the pressure on, trying to do everything he can. Remember, he was on the radio saying the ride was unpleasant, it was not what he wanted, but with a restart, you know Verstappen locks in and just brings all the pressure possible. He was second last year to a McLaren. It looks like that's going to be the same again. We have seen a change of position on the restart lap. It was Pierre Gasly dropping to 11th and Yuki Tsunoda climbing back to the points. How he needs that. Right, big lap coming your way because DRS is now enabled.
Yeah, so Tsunoda's driving around a throttle map issue. Doesn't have any throttle for the first chunk, but he's still managed to get himself back into the points. It's a good effort from him.
Piastri.
You could just see a couple of little spots of rain there, but I don't think it's going to be enough to affect this. Can Verstappen stay within a second?
Light rain on the visor. Piastri trying to take a handy advantage in the World Championship battle, and the weather has not done what anyone expected today. And they're forecasting light rain. It's looking pretty dark outside of our commentary box window at the moment. For Piastri, 3 times he's been under the pressure of a restart, this time with Verstappen right there. And Piastri, Verstappen, Hadjar will be ticking off the laps now. Verstappen will be so pleased to perform at home. Remember, he's been on this very uncharacteristic run with no podiums in the last 4 Grand Prix. But Verstappen looks set to put that right. We're on to the penultimate tour of the Dutch Grand Prix with Oscar Piastri in the lead, chasing down a 9th career victory, a 7th of the season. And Norris was right there all race long in the wheel tracks. Gasly has lost a couple of positions. Colapinto is now up to 12th place. Lawson in 13th. Gasly was told to do that, and Lawson got by as well. He's been passed by Hulkenberg and Sainz further back in the pack, and Behrman has closed the gap down on Antonelli anyway. And they're, of course, on the restart, he's kept that within the 1.6 seconds that he needs, and Antonelli with those 15 seconds of penalties is going to tumble out of the points. Tough for him, but a much more encouraging pace overall. But this looks like it's going to be a decisive day for the World Championship. Norris will have to go on full attack for the final 9 Grand Prix, and the Orange Army have seen Verstappen mix it at the front. Bold move on the opening lap, brought them to their feet, and he won't be too far away at the flag. But it's Oscar Piastri with the car in close proximity. It's not his teammate. His teammate is out of the race as Oscar Piastri goes on to the 72nd and final lap of the Dutch Grand Prix. And Isaac Hadjar and Racing Bulls. It would be incredible if he can convert it in a final 2.6 miles, because he'll be the youngest French driver to stand on a Formula One podium in the history of the championship.
What a drive it's been from him as well. Started 4th and has just been staring at the back of Max the entire race. He's not wilted.
Yeah, no, it's been a beautiful weekend, actually, all the way through. So really, really impressive.
Max Verstappen only 1.1 seconds away, but this cannot be overstated. In what is a zero-sum battle, Oscar Piastri has the advantage with 9 Grand Prix to go. His points lead will be sizable, and he will celebrate in a few corners' time. He's on his way to tie the win tally of his mentor, Mark Webber. It's a decisive day in the championship battle. Oscar Piastri wins the Dutch Grand Prix to extend his lead in the Formula One World Championship. It's 2nd place for Max Verstappen, another home podium. But what a sentence this is! Isaac Hadjar, you are P3. And he started his Formula One career in the barriers on the formation lap. Race 15, he is heading to the podium.
Absolutely brilliant. Very happy for him. Yeah, we're trying to come to terms with the disappointment at our championship rival. Lando Norris has had that reliability issue, but it is what it is, and it may just unleash an attack, as you said, Julie, in those final 9 races. It may just bring out the world champion in him.
Oh, he has to go on maximum attack. He has to take the fight in a way. There'll be no erring on the side of caution. Racing Bulls. P4 was a surprise, but he fully deserves that, Isaac Hadjar. They are in tears of joy down there for the Faenza-based team. And Alan Permain must be thinking, it's pretty easy, this team principal lock.
He's been around a long, long time in this sport, so yeah, he'll be enjoying that moment, unquestionably, but he's been around since the days where he didn't expect to finish 40% of the races because of reliability.
Well, it's played its part, but Oscar Piastri is the race winner.
Good job, Oscar. Great job. And fantastic performance all weekend. This was a relatively tough weekend for us last year, and that's been really strong. Really, really strong.
Woo! Nicely done, everybody. Nicely done. Yeah, good weekend in the end. Yeah, obviously sorry to Lando what happened, but yeah, that said, well done, everybody.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing that really stands out in Oscar Piastri's performance from last year to this year. He's just improved in every area. He's improved in qualifying. He's improved when he's looked like he was lacking a little bit of pace relative to Lando. And, yeah, you can't take it away from him. It's a real deal.
He merited the win, didn't he? Lando was running second.
Good job, Oscar. Great job.
What a drive, Isaac Hadjar. You are a podium finisher in Formula One in just his 15th Grand Prix.
Yeah, and that is a reflection of that roller coaster of emotions that you get in Formula One. The slow, long walk from the crash at the first corner, even before the race had started in Melbourne, to this absolute joy in getting his first podium. And this man here, he's just flawless at the moment, isn't he?
And he'll know that this is seismic for the championship as well. It is now fully in Oscar Piastri's grasp, a first title. It's subdued at McLaren because, understandably, you know, he wants to win on merit. He wants to win in an all-out fight with Lando. And today, Lando's lost a load of points with the car breaking down. Luck can go for you, can go against you. It's not gone Lando's way today, and it's really harsh. But for Oscar, it's a big day.
Isaac Hadjar was so disappointed to lose out on the title last year in Formula 2. Had to be convinced to go to the trophy ceremony. He did the right thing. He applauded the driver who beat him to the title. He lifted his second place trophy. He used it as a motivation. He's taking another trophy in a few minutes' time after we've heard from the top three speaking to Guido
Max
van der Garde.
Verstappen, second today. I think that was probably the thing that you could do, not more. It was not easy.
Yeah, it wasn't easy. Gave it everything at the start, you know, to move forward. Little moment in turn two, but yeah, after that we just had to do, you know, our own race. Unfortunately, we didn't have the pace of the McLarens. Then yeah, we got a bit lucky, of course, with one retiring. But in general, you know, to be on the podium here is a great result. So to be in second, I think is a really good achievement for us.
Tell me about the moment, because it looked quite a bit oversteer, no? In turn two, you tried also with Oscar doing outside on turn one, but then you went also outside of Lando in turn two, but you had a huge moment there, no?
Yeah, I tried to send it into turn three, but unfortunately there was too much sand in turn two from the middle of the track to the outside. I knew that we had the softer compound, so I tried to make it work on that first lap.
Last year you also finished second. All the years you've been on the podium right now, from all the moments in Zandvoort. Can you have also a word in Dutch to have all these fans here with orange?
Ja, natuurlijk het hele weekend is ongelooflijk weer geweest. Zoveel oranje en steun. En ja, het blijft gewoon altijd heel bijzonder om hier te rijden. En natuurlijk dan uiteindelijk ook om hier op het podium te staan.
Thank you very much. All the best.
Well.
Thank you. Isaac Hadja, your first ever Formula One podium here in Zandvoort. You must be over the moon.
Yeah, it feels a bit unreal. You know, and what was most surprising to me is keeping that 4th place for the whole race. Unfortunately for Lando, you know, we took advantage of his puncture, and but yeah, we did no mistake. The car was on rails the whole weekend, and I'm really happy about myself because I really maximized what I had, made no mistakes, and brought home the podium. So yeah, I'm so happy for my guys.
Could you have ever dreamed this before, when you were a young kid, to stand here to have your first podium?
Yeah, that was always the target since I was a kid. So this is the first step, my first podium, and hopefully much more.
Many more to come. Congratulations. Enjoy the moment, especially with the team. Oscar, you are a Heineken Dutch Grand Prix winner. How must that feel?
Yeah, it feels good, obviously. I feel like it's a pretty hard act to follow Isaac standing up here, so I'll try my best. But yeah, I controlled the race when I needed to, and you know, obviously it was incredibly unfortunate for Lando at the end. But yeah, felt like I was in control of that one, and just used the pace when I needed to. And yeah, there was a bit of a different race to 12 months ago. So very happy with all the work we've done to try and improve around here, and very satisfied to come out on top.
Yeah, last year you struggled a little bit here. What did you change to have this success and the win here?
Nothing special, just trying to improve everywhere we can. And, you know, the start of this weekend was looking like a difficult one, and managed to get it together in qualifying. And then, yeah, I was happy with the pace I had today. So, yeah, very, very happy. Obviously, a couple of safety cars that spiced it up a little bit, and we weathered it all. So I'm very proud of the whole team. And yeah, you know, it wasn't just myself that improved to get here. It was with the whole team around me, and you know, without them, none of this is possible. So it's a big team effort.
I think it's a perfect start for the second part of the season, not?
Yep, starting out on top's a good way to go. So if we can keep it running, then that'd be great. But there's a long way to go yet, and keep doing it one race at a time.
You're looking forward to next week already, Monza?
Yes, I am.
Good luck. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Oscar Piastri, the winner.
Oscar Piastri, the winner of the Dutch Grand Prix by 1.2 seconds. As his rival's car unable to make the finish. And he will be joined on the podium by Max Verstappen and Isaac Hadjar, who turns a great qualifying day into a superlative performance in the Grand Prix. He was running within Max Verstappen's wheel tracks, on merit, on pace. They were trying something different with Max's strategy, admittedly, but any rookie that can keep up there, and his future a whole lot of good with that drive today.